how you doing? And welcome back to a video on the channel. Just before we get started, any support is greatly appreciated. I actually had a couple new subscribers since the last video this week, so thank you very much. It is appreciated. So drop a subscribe or a like on the video. It really helps out the small channel that we are continuing to grow. And let's get into it. So we're going to start with a bit of a review of game week 13. And as I get my team up on the screen here, it's really just a case of how many points did you have on your bench this game week. Me, I think it works out at 23 points on the bench, and I think I only got 38 overall. So, I mean, that is such a high amount of points in three players. You just think, gosh, if I'd put them in my team, the difference would have been massive. I literally could have got myself about 20 more points than I did already this game week. So I have dropped down about 800k, and it's times like this which makes it me glad that I don't profess to be good at the game. I do feel like I've been unlucky, but then I just also think that maybe I'm trying to kid myself a bit as well. But overall, I'm not feeling too good. That game week rank, I had to put it on there because you can't hide from it really. You've got to face up when it's not going very well. And that's what we had. I did captain Salah. Doesn't say it there, but he only got 2 points. And as soon as that Nottingham Forest game was done and dusted, and he blanked and Liverpool lost, you just thought, why on earth am I captaining Salah rather than Haaland? And that cost me as well. But at the time, you think Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, Salah's got to score at some point. It could be this game week, it could be a differential. But it's just not to be. Having said that, I am actually still thinking of captaining Salah next weekend. So, I've only got myself to blame really with these poor decisions. But then again, I wouldn't say that captaining Salah away at Nottingham Forest is a poor decision. It's more of a poor outcome. But you might make your own minds up on that. So looking at the fixtures for this game week, and we've got some good games there for captaincy. So captaining Salah at home to Leeds, absolute possibility. You might fancy an Arsenal player at home to Forest, maybe Saka or Martinelli or Jesus. And, Haaland is not looking, like Leicester away. They've started turning the form around. Really on a good day, Leicester are a top half team. And, Man City away, not at the Etihad. You just don't know how it's going to go. Obviously, it's always a huge risk when you don't captain Haaland. There are other good options. You might even say, although Spurs are having a bit of a dodgy run, Kane, away at Bournemouth, that's got potential as well. Bournemouth can concede goals. And, even if you wanted to go completely out there, you might say, well, Tony at home to Wolves, both teams lost 4-0 last game week, but you would have to fancy Brentford to outscore Wolves in that. And Brentford have shown already this season that they've got a bit of consistency about them. They've just had a bad game week. So there are some captaincy options out there, especially if you want to maybe, push it a little bit and take those risks, before the World Cup. The World Cup's coming in a few weeks. So really, if you want to try and just, go for it, I do think that your mindset will reset after the World Cup anyway, and all these decisions that haven't gone for you, you'll come back refreshed after the World Cup. So now is maybe the time to captain somebody else, although I guess you do it at your own risk. So I've got a few decisions to be made so far for this game week, and I am looking at making a couple of transfers. We've got Chris Mepham on the screen there. I am thinking of changing him into Ben White, getting Ben White back in. I took him out on a wild card because of Arsenal's fixtures, and he does have, whilst he has Chelsea, he does also have Forest and Wolves in his next three. And even if people talk about Arsenal attack, but what about Arsenal defence? You could easily say they could get two clean sheets in those two out of those three games. So that is one transfer I'm looking at. I have got another free transfer to make, and it is moving Bowen either to Bernardo Silva or Martinelli. And Martinelli, he's got 4 goals, 3 assists this season, and Silva has got 2 goals and 6 assists. And to me, Bernardo Silva is super underrated. He has started every game since game week 3. So that must be about 9, 10 games in a row that he started for Man City. And you talk about rotation risks at Man City. He is someone that is turning up week in, week out, and he is playing. Martinelli, on the other hand, whilst he's playing, he's on a bit of a rough patch of form. But Arsenal's fixtures are something which you think, well, they could score goals. But my problem that I have whilst we're looking at my team here is that I already have Saka in my midfield. So this is my team as it stands before these potential transfers. So Gaeta home to Southampton. I've still got a double Crystal Palace defence. Obviously losing, conceding three away at Everton was not ideal at all, and definitely wasn't part of my script, which is why I had Tarkowski on the bench. Um, that wasn't ideal, but I do think Southampton at home could be a different proposition, and that double Crystal Palace defence could be on for me. So I am thinking of keeping in Anderson. I've got Cancelo and Gomez rounding out the defence, and then I've got the captaincy on Salah again. That might change to Mitrovic. Let's see how we're feeling towards the end of the week. And Bowen, Saka, and Rashford. I'm really hot on Saka and Rashford. I think they could be great options for the next 2 weeks. Bowen's fixtures aren't good. I think we talked about that in our wildcard video. Go check it out if you haven't seen it for this game week. And that is why I'm thinking Bowen I'd get 8.1 million back for him. And if I did make those two transfers, it would give me 1.1 mil to play with. And that would mean swapping Mitrovic, I could get Calvert Lewin in for Mitch instead of Mitrovic for that Man City and Man United game that Mitrovic actually has. So let me know what you think with that. I'm really not too sure myself. And if I am going to make these transfers, say I got Ben White in, well, who would I drop? If I replace Bowen for Bernardo Silva, say, and I brought Ben White in for Mepham, well, is Ben White just going to sit on my bench? Could I make a more, sort of attacking move elsewhere? So whilst I think Arsenal's defence is good, could I use those funds elsewhere to bolster my attack? If I did get Ben White in, what I probably would do is take out Anderson and just go for a single Crystal Palace defence, um, and take it from there. So I do quite like the either Bernardo Silva or Martinelli option. But if you're watching this, let me know what you think you would go with, whether it be one or the other, or have I missed somebody completely? And are there any different transfers that you would make? Can you see any other upgrades in my team? So yeah, thank you very much for listening. This is a preview for Game Week 14. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support, and I will see you in the next one.